it's looking more and more likely every day heading into Super Tuesday that Bernie Sanders is going to defeat Elizabeth Warren in her home state of Massachusetts. So this is some polling data from a WBUR poll that came out, or that was from February 23rd to February 26th, so just a couple of days ago. And it shows that Bernie Sanders in Massachusetts primary currently has 25% of the voter support. Elizabeth Warren 8 points behind in 17. Buttigieg in third at 14. Oligarch Bloomberg 13, and crazy Uncle Joseph Biden at 9. And this was saying that Bernie's plus 12, Elizabeth Warren minus 15, Mayor Rat plus 7, Bloomberg plus 13, Biden minus 9. And so I looked at this poll from the same WBR polling site just not more than a couple weeks ago, and at that time Bernie was maybe 1 or 2 points ahead of Elizabeth Warren at that point. So I wonder if maybe the results of the Nevada caucuses of just Bernie just totally crushing the field, if that maybe had some effect, or maybe Elizabeth Warren's flip-flopping on super PACs, or now that she's saying she's okay with super delegates overturning the will of the people, if at the first round of the convention the candidate with the plurality doesn't get a majority, she said that she's okay with them super delegates overturning the will of the people. So I don't know, the exact reasons that Bernie is continuing to surge, but it makes sense. He is the front runner. He's won the first 3 states. It looks like he's going to beat Elizabeth Warren in her home state of Massachusetts. Again, there's literally no way that Elizabeth Warren wins the nomination. 538 has her at less than 1%. Bernie's the front runner with about 40% chance of winning the nomination and around a 70% chance of winning a plurality of the votes. But again, because all of the other candidates except Bernie are okay with superdelegates overturning the will of the people in this very undemocratic process, that we need to make sure we do everything that we can that Bernie gets over that 50% threshold, so there's no chance of any type of this corrupt practices, this shady shit that we know the superdelegates are more than willing to engage in to cheat him out of the nomination. So let's again keep up all the momentum, act like Bernie's 20 points down, especially if you live in Massachusetts. Knock on doors, talk to friends and family members about why Bernie is clearly the only choice if we want to get a progressive elected to the White House. And it's just super important because this country needs somebody who's going to fight for the working people in the White House to get things like Medicare for all, so we don't have 70,000 people dying each year, so we can save $450 billion on healthcare, so we can not have 500,000 people going bankrupt each year, so we can have a Green New Deal, so we can have an inhabitable planet to live on, so we can have free college, so when people want to get a education, either to increase their earnings or for self-knowledge, they're not having to be shackled with tens of thousands of dollars of debt. So again, none of the things that Bernie is proposing are radical. Most industrialized countries in the world already have a lot of these programs that Bernie's proposing, and again, they're extremely popular when you go over the issues, the things that Bernie supports with people. A majority of people support them, so it makes sense why he's doing really well, because he's proposing things that will greatly benefit and improve the lives of working people in the United States, and he wants a government that works for the people and not the billionaire oligarch owner class. But again, and then this is pretty interesting. Almost half of the voters in this WBR poll in Massachusetts under 45 went for Bernie. Almost half of voters under 45 went for Bernie. That's huge. So again, Bernie talks about how important it is to, have a candidate and a movement who's going to excite, young people, who's going to get them to turn out to the polls in record numbers. And again, clearly Bernie Sanders is the only candidate capable of doing that. And it talked about how Warren does well with high education voters and women. With women, Warren had 22% of the vote, or Bernie had 23. And again, most huge chunk of Elizabeth Warren's support is basically highly educated, more or less affluent people, especially white people. And again, Bernie Sanders has the most diverse working class coalition out of anybody, has the most support among Latino, now has the most support nationally among the African American community, has the most support from young people and people with less than a college education, and all these different factors. Bernie Sanders just, he has this new age rainbow coalition, a la Jesse Jackson, was it circa 1988 or 1992, or maybe both of those. And you need to have a wide group of people that base of support if you want to get elected as a president in the United States. Bernie Sanders has that. He's the only candidate. So again, I highly encourage you at this point, if you are still a Elizabeth Warren supporter, I'm not really sure why. If you're truly concerned with getting a progressive elected, somebody who's not going to compromise their values when things get tough, like Elizabeth Warren did when she backpedaled on not taking super PAC money. Now she's totally okay with that because her fundraising was in shambles, and she basically would have to pack up shop if she didn't reverse course. Same thing with the changing her mind on the super delegates, because she saw that there's basically no way in hell that she was going to get enough delegates to win without the super delegates playing their shady, corrupt, and just total unethical and immoral role. Bernie Sanders has been clear and consistent. That's probably one of the reasons why he's the most popular senator in the United States. So if you're watching this and you're an Elizabeth Warren supporter, please, I would love to know why you're supporting Elizabeth Warren at this point over Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the front runner. He has the momentum. He won the first 3 contests. He's going to clean up on Super Tuesday, and it looks like he's going to beat Elizabeth Warren potentially pretty handily in her home state of Massachusetts. I would really hope once that happens, and I do think it will, that Elizabeth Warren takes a long, deep look in the mirror, is like, what the fuck am I doing at this point? I don't know myself. So hope she has some type of, reckoning and wises up and drops out and endorses Bernie. Those are my thoughts. Share yours in the comment sections down here.